train your mind every single day, everyone today, I want to talk to you about one of the most powerful muscles in your body, your mind. Like any other muscle, it needs daily training, not once a week. Not only when you're motivated, but every single day. Here's how we do that in 6 powerful steps. Every day, the moment we open our eyes, we're given a fresh opportunity, a blank slate, a brand, new 24 hours to create, to grow, and to become a better version of ourselves. But what most people don't realize is that how you begin your day often determines how the rest of it unfolds. And it all starts with a simple but powerful habit: setting an intention. Starting with intention isn't about filling out a massive to-do list or trying to control every little outcome. It's not about rigid structure or perfection. It's about choosing deliberately who you want to be, how you want to show up, and what energy you want to bring into the world today. This is the first and most vital step in training your mind every single day. Think about this. Most people wake up and immediately dive into their phones. They scroll through emails, social media, news feeds, instantly overwhelmed, reacting to the outside world before they've even checked in with themselves. The mind hasn't even warmed up, and already it's being pulled in a dozen different directions. That's how you drift through life instead of leading it. But when you wake up with purpose, when you take a few minutes to breathe, reflect, and set a clear intention, something shifts. You move from reaction to creation. Instead of being at the mercy of your mood or the chaos of the world, you're anchored, grounded. You know what you're about today. That's powerful. Your intention can be anything that aligns with what you value. It could be something simple like today, I will be present. Or today, I choose to stay calm, no matter what happens. It could be, I will finish what I start. Or I will lead with kindness. The point isn't to be perfect, the point is to remind your mind what matters before the noise of the world takes over. Intention is a signal to your brain. It tells your subconscious what to look for, how to behave, what decisions to lean into. And the more you repeat this practice, the more your brain begins to work for you instead of against you. You start to notice opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You respond thoughtfully where you used to react emotionally. You stay focused on your path when distractions try to knock you off course. This isn't magic. It's mental discipline. It's about waking up and asking, what do I want to feel today? What do I want to embody? How do I want to treat myself and others? And then living from that decision, not just toward your goals, but as the person who achieves them. Let's say your intention is to stay calm and centered. That doesn't mean you won't face stress, of course you will. But when the stress shows up, your mind will remember, oh yeah, we chose calm today, and you'll breathe, you'll pause, you'll handle it better than you would have if you hadn't trained your focus. This is how leaders operate. This is how athletes prepare. This is how creatives tap into flow. They don't just wing it, they begin with clarity, with direction, with intention. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, take 2-3 minutes to be with yourself. You don't need a journal, you don't need a meditation cushion. Just sit quietly and ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to have? What kind of person do I want to be today? Then choose one simple intention and carry it with you like a mental compass. Over time, this will rewire your brain. It will train your mind to stay focused on what matters, to resist distractions, to align your actions with your values. It might seem small, even easy to skip, but these small moments of mental training done consistently build the foundation for everything else. Because when you start your day with intention, you don't just train your mind, you train your life. Your mind is a garden. What you plant in it, what you water, what you expose it to, that's what grows. The thoughts you allow, the information you consume, the conversations you engage in, they all act as fuel. And like any engine, the quality of the fuel you use determines how smoothly, how efficiently, and how powerfully it runs. If you want to train your mind every single day, one of the most important things you can do is feed it the right fuel. Most people don't realize how much junk they're feeding their minds. Just like you wouldn't expect to be physically healthy by living on fast food, you can't expect mental clarity, emotional strength, or resilience if you're constantly taking in negativity, noise, or nonsense. Every headline, every video, every meme, every tweet, it all has an effect. It might seem harmless in the moment, but over time, your mind becomes a reflection of what it consumes. If you constantly scroll through toxic content, compare yourself to unrealistic standards, or surround yourself with people who only talk about problems, your mindset will suffer. You'll feel drained, unmotivated, anxious, and you won't even know why. That's because your mental diet matters just as much as your physical one. Feeding your mind the right fuel means being intentional about what you let in. It means choosing information that challenges you, inspires you, uplifts you. It means learning something new instead of getting lost in distraction. It means spending time around people who bring out your best instead of feeding your fears. This isn't about pretending life is always positive, it's not. But it's about creating a healthy mental environment where growth can happen, where your mind isn't just surviving the day, but actually getting stronger, clearer, sharper. That's what the right fuel does. It gives your brain what it needs to build better habits, make smarter decisions, and stay focused on what truly matters. So what does the right fuel look like? It starts with knowledge. Read books that expand your thinking. Watch videos that teach, not just entertain. Listen to podcasts that make you more curious, more thoughtful, more driven. Even 10 minutes a day of intentional learning can compound into massive growth over time. Fuel also comes from people. Think about your circle, the people you talk to, follow, and share energy with. Are they adding to your mindset or subtracting from it? Are your conversations filled with goals, ideas, progress, or gossip, complaints, and negativity? Choose your circle wisely. Your environment is part of your mental diet, and don't underestimate the power of silence as fuel, too. Sometimes the best thing you can give your mind is a break from the noise. Step away from the screen, go for a walk, meditate. Let your brain rest, reset, and breathe. In that space, you often find the answers you've been searching for or the peace you didn't know you needed. The truth is, your mind is always listening. It's always absorbing, and whether you realize it or not, it's always being shaped by what you allow into it. That's why it's not enough to just avoid bad fuel. You have to actively choose good fuel. It's not passive, it's a practice. So the next time you pick up your phone, ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this building me up or breaking me down? The next time you talk to someone, ask, do I feel more energized or more exhausted after this conversation? That awareness alone can transform your daily mindset. Feeding your mind the right fuel is about long-term mental health and strength. It's about conditioning your brain to expect more, to think better, to rise higher. And over time, it becomes automatic. You'll find yourself naturally seeking out better sources of inspiration and naturally avoiding what drains you. You'll build a mental environment where focus thrives, where confidence grows, where discipline becomes second nature. And that's the goal, not just to feel good, but to be good. To build a mindset so well, fed so well, trained that it becomes your greatest asset in everything you do. Your mind is powerful, but only if you feed it right. So every day, choose your fuel wisely, because what you feed your mind today becomes the story you live tomorrow. Discomfort is not the enemy, it's the doorway to growth. Yet, most people spend their lives trying to avoid it. We stay in our comfort zones because they feel safe, predictable, and familiar. But comfort zones are like cages dressed in cozy pillows, soft on the outside, but limiting on the inside. If you want to train your mind every single day, you must learn to not only face discomfort, but to embrace it. Discomfort is where the real work happens. It's where you stretch your boundaries, challenge your limitations, and rewrite the story you tell yourself about what you're capable of. Growth does not come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Think about the strongest people you admire in sports, business, art, or life. None of them got to where they are by coasting. They got there by doing the things others weren't willing to do. They showed up when it was uncomfortable. They kept going when they wanted to quit. They leaned into pressure instead of backing away. That mindset doesn't come naturally. It comes from training over and over again. Facing discomfort builds resilience. Every time you step into something that scares you, stretches you, or challenges you, your mind gets stronger. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. You begin to develop grit, that deep inner strength that says, I don't break under pressure, I rise under it. Discomfort can come in many forms. It might be physical, waking up early, going to the gym, pushing through fatigue. It might be emotional, having a difficult conversation, admitting when you're wrong, asking for help. It might be mental, learning something new, starting a business, facing uncertainty. Whatever form it takes, your response to discomfort determines your direction. The mind naturally wants to avoid pain. It's wired to seek pleasure and avoid hardship. But the more you train yourself to face discomfort head-on, the more you override that old programming. You start to associate discomfort not with fear, but with progress. You start to see it not as something to dodge, but something to use. And here's the truth: discomfort is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts a lifetime. That hard conversation you've been avoiding, it might feel uncomfortable for 5 minutes, but it could change a relationship forever. That workout you dread, it may hurt now, but it's shaping a healthier, more confident version of you. That risk you're scared to take, it could open doors you didn't even know existed. Discomfort is the cost of change, and if you want a different life, a better one, a stronger one, you have to be willing to pay that price. Because what's really uncomfortable is staying the same, living with regret, wondering what if, watching time pass while your dreams sit on the shelf. The good news is, facing discomfort gets easier with practice. The first time is the hardest, but the more you do it, the more you realize that discomfort doesn't break you, it builds you. Your mind starts to trust you. It starts to believe, if we can handle that, we can handle this too. That's how confidence is built, not by avoiding challenges, but by facing them and realizing you're stronger than you thought. You don't have to leap into extreme discomfort every day. Start small. Choose one thing each day that pushes you just a little. Wake up earlier. Say no when you usually say yes. Do one more rep. Speak up in a meeting. These little acts of courage build your mental toughness brick by brick. And over time, what once scared you becomes your new normal. When you commit to facing discomfort daily, you stop shrinking yourself to fit the life you have. You start expanding yourself to build the life you want. You stop playing not to lose, and you start playing to win. So next time discomfort shows up, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't wait for it to pass. Look it in the eye and say, let's go. Because every time you face discomfort, you train your mind to be sharper, braver, and more unstoppable than ever before. And that's how real transformation begins, not in comfort, but in courage. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. It happens quietly, constantly, in the background of your day, when you look in the mirror, when you're faced with a challenge, when things go wrong, or even when they go right. And the truth is, your mind believes what you tell it. That's why if you want to train your mind every single day, mastering yourself, talk is absolutely essential. Self-talk is the voice of your inner narrator. It's how you interpret the world and your place in it. It can be your greatest ally or your biggest enemy. The difference between people who succeed and those who stay stuck often comes down to one thing: the story they tell themselves. When your self-talk is negative, it chips away at your confidence. It tells you you're not good enough, that you're too late, too tired, too inexperienced, too flawed. It exaggerates fear and downplays your potential, and over time it becomes a belief system. It creates invisible walls around what you think you can do. It limits you not because the world says you can't, but because you do. But here's the powerful part. Just like any habit, self-talk can be changed. You can train your inner voice to be encouraging, empowering, and constructive. You can make it your internal coach instead of your inner critic. And when that shift happens, everything in your life begins to change. It starts with awareness. Most people don't even realize how harsh their inner dialogue is. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a friend. I'm so stupid. I can't do this. I always mess things up. Imagine hearing those words all day long. You wouldn't tolerate it from someone else, so why accept it from yourself? Pay attention to the way you talk to yourself, especially when things go wrong. That's when your real mindset shows up. Do you beat yourself up? Or do you acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward? The way you respond to setbacks in your mind determines whether they become weights or stepping stones. Next, practice reframing your thoughts. Reframing doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything's perfect. It means choosing a more helpful perspective. Instead of "I'm terrible at this," say "I'm still learning, and every time I try, I get better." Instead of "I failed," say "This was feedback, now I know how to do it differently." That shift in language creates a shift in belief. And belief is what drives behavior. Affirmations can also help train your self-talk. These are simple, powerful statements that reinforce the identity you're building. I am capable. I am resilient. I can handle whatever comes my way. When repeated regularly, affirmations start to replace the old scripts that have been playing in your mind for years. You're not faking confidence, you're building it, one word at a time. Another key part of mastering self-talk is to speak to yourself with compassion. You're human, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short sometimes. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. Self-compassion doesn't mean making excuses. It means giving yourself the same kindness and patience you'd offer someone else who's trying their best. Think of it this way: your mind is always listening, and it wants to follow your lead. If you speak to it with doubt, it will give you hesitation. If you speak with belief, it will give you courage. That's how your words become actions. That's how thoughts become reality. Over time, positive self-talk becomes your default. In difficult moments, your first instinct will no longer be to tear yourself down, but to lift yourself up. You'll start to approach challenges with confidence instead of fear. You'll bounce back from failure faster. You'll walk through life with a mindset that says, "I've got this," even when the path is tough. Mastering yourself-talk is not about being blindly positive. It's about being honest and empowering. It's about holding yourself accountable while still cheering yourself on. It's about creating a mental environment where belief, discipline, and growth can thrive. So train your inner voice, make it strong. Make it kind, make it one that believes in your vision, in your strength, and in your future even on the days you don't feel like it. Because the voice you hear the most will either build you up or break you down. And the good news, that voice is yours. You get to choose how it speaks. Life can be chaotic. Plans fall apart. People let you down. The unexpected happens. And the world keeps moving whether you're ready or not. In the middle of all this noise, stress, and uncertainty, there's one mindset shift that can completely change how you experience everything. Stay focused on what you can control. So many people waste their mental energy trying to control things that are completely outside of their power. The traffic, the weather, other people's opinions, the past, the future, these are things we can't touch, no matter how much we obsess over them. But we do it anyway. We replay conversations we can't undo. We stress about outcomes we can't predict. And slowly, without realizing it, our peace of mind starts to slip away. We feel frustrated, anxious, even helpless. And it's not because life is out of control, it's because we're trying to control the wrong thing. Training your mind every single day requires a discipline of focus. Not just any focus, but the kind of focus that says, what can I actually do right now? What's within my power and what's not? When you can answer that honestly, you take your power back. Because while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond to it. You can't control if someone is rude to you, but you can control whether you react with anger or patience. You can't control if a job opportunity doesn't work out, but you can control whether you learn from the experience and keep applying. You can't control the pace of the world, but you can control your own pace, your own habits, and how you show up each day. And that's where real strength lives, in your responses, in your mindset, in your daily choices. Think of your mind like a flashlight. It can only shine brightly in one direction at a time. If you shine it on everything that's out of your hands, you'll be constantly distracted, discouraged, and exhausted. But if you point that light at what you can do, the next step, the next decision, the next thought, you'll find clarity, direction, and calm, even in the middle of chaos. This principle is simple but not easy, because we're constantly tempted to drift. Social media pulls our attention to what other people are doing. The news bombards us with problems that seem too big to solve. And our own thoughts sometimes spiral into what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. That's why focusing on what you can control has to be a daily practice, a mental reset that you come back to again and again. It helps to start small. When your day starts to feel overwhelming, pause and ask, what's one thing I can control right now? Maybe it's your breathing. Maybe it's getting up and moving your body. Maybe it's choosing not to reply to negativity. Those small decisions are not insignificant, they are mental reps. Every time you make them, you're building strength. Another powerful habit is writing down what's bothering you, and then separating what's within your control from what isn't. Draw a line on one side, list the things you can't control and let them go. On the other side, list what you can do and commit to taking action. This doesn't just reduce stress, it creates momentum. It's also important to remember that just because you can't control something doesn't mean you're powerless. You're never powerless. You can always choose your attitude, your discipline, your gratitude. These aren't just ideas, they're tools that sharpen your mindset and help you keep moving forward even when life isn't perfect. People who stay focused on what they can control are often the calmest in the room. They don't panic when things go wrong. They don't waste time blaming others. They stay grounded, focused, productive, and they get stronger with each challenge because they've trained their minds to look inward before reacting outward. In the end, this kind of mental focus is what gives you real freedom. It frees you from the need to micromanage the world. It frees you from unnecessary stress, and it frees up your energy to build the life you want, instead of constantly fighting the life you can't change. So each day, remind yourself, I may not control everything, but I control enough. My thoughts, my habits, my attitude, my effort. And that's more than enough to create progress, peace, and power. Because when you focus on what you can control, you unlock the best of what life has to offer, even when life is unpredictable. The secret to mastering anything, your mind, your habits, your growth, isn't found in a one-time burst of motivation or a single life-changing moment. It's found in the repetition, the consistency, the daily showing up. If you want to train your mind to be sharp, strong, and focused, then you have to commit to doing the work not just once in a while, but every single day. Repetition is the foundation of all progress. Think of anything you're good at right now: driving, writing, speaking, solving problems. None of that happened overnight. It was repetition that turned confusion into clarity, and practice that turned effort into ease. The same applies to your mindset. You can read all the self-help books in the world, but if you don't apply the lessons repeatedly, nothing will stick. Change happens through daily reinforcement, not occasional inspiration. The mind is like a muscle. You can't go to the gym once and expect to be in shape for life. You have to show up even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days. Because that's where mental strength is really built, not when everything is easy and you're in the mood, but when it's hard and you do it anyway. That's what consistency teaches you: discipline, patience, trust in the process. But here's where most people struggle. They expect results too quickly. They want transformation without the time. They give up because they don't see immediate proof that what they're doing is working. But repetition is often silent at first. You don't always see the results right away. Just like planting a seed, you water it, you nurture it, but nothing seems to happen. Then one day there's a sprout. A breakthrough, a shift. That shift doesn't come from intensity. It comes from persistence. Small efforts repeated daily build unshakable habits over time. When you meditate for 5 minutes a day, you don't become a master of mindfulness overnight, but you do become someone who makes peace a priority. When you choose gratitude each morning, you don't erase all of life's challenges, but you start to face them with a different perspective. That's the power of repetition. The beauty of doing something every day is that it removes the need to constantly decide. You don't have to debate with yourself about whether or not to show up, you just do. It becomes part of your identity. Not I try to be disciplined, but I am disciplined. Not I try to stay focused, but I am focused. You reinforce who you are by what you do consistently, and don't underestimate the compounding effect of these small daily wins. 1 page a day becomes a book in a year. 1 healthy choice a day becomes a new lifestyle. 1 moment of mindfulness a day becomes a calmer, more present version of you. When you repeat something every day, you give it the chance to evolve into something powerful. Of course, life will test your consistency. You'll have off days. You'll get tired, distracted, frustrated. That's normal. But success isn't about never slipping, it's about getting back on track quickly. 1 bad day doesn't undo your progress. What matters is that you don't let 1 missed day become 2, or 3, or a new pattern. Keep showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's imperfect, especially then. There's also magic in the rhythm of repetition. When you do something consistently, it begins to flow. You find your stride. What once felt forced starts to feel natural. The work becomes part of your day, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. It's no longer about willpower, it's who you are. So repeat, every single day, not because you have to be perfect, but because you're committed to progress. Not because it's always easy, but because it's always worth it. Not because anyone's watching, but because you are. You are your own witness, your own coach, your own competition. And if you ever wonder whether the repetition matters, remember this. Your life is made up of the things you do repeatedly. Your mindset, your confidence, your results, they are all the result of your daily choices. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your day. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, because the path to greatness isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in small steps, taken over and over again, 1 day at a time, relentlessly, consistently, repeatedly. Thanks for watching.